Okay, so we're gonna present perspective via saying learning blocks by Adrian, and you're team number 2. I am Cynthia Bañuelos. These are my teammates. Okay, first the learning organizations just quickly before we jump into the blocks. First is team learning, which is they help develop our capacity for conversation and balancing dialogue and discussion. This is important so all team members in an organization can share their ideas. Systems thinking help develop our capacity for putting the pieces together and seeing wholes rather than separate parts. This is so when they have like team conversations. They can like grab info from different people, like different organizations, and put them together. And then mental models are the capacity to reflect on our internal pictures. These models help. So whatever you have in your mind, you can share it with others.
The shared vision is the concern with the building a sense of commitment in the group. For example, like if the manager sees something, he will transfer that information and his vision to others. And so it will not be just like an individual vision, but more like a group. And like this way there is more open mind, people receive different ideas from others in the group instead of their own thinking. And before jumping into the blocks, a company needs to have it is a must to have a learning organization, because in this way the result will be that employees will have improved their skills in creating, acquiring, and transferring knowledge between them, as well as that the workers, managers, and employees will cultivate tolerance, foster open discussion, think holistically, and think systematically. And this will create an advantage over their competitors, because this company with organizational learning will have the ability to adapt to unpredictable situations faster than the competitors. And, well, the 5 forms of organizational learning in Garvin's model are systematic problem solving, experimentation, learning from the past, experiences and mistakes, learning from others, transferring and sharing, knowledge across the organization.
So all this leads to the blocks.
Well, Garvin wrote an article in the Harvard Business Review, and we read it because given that our content for our page was just half a page long, we had to do a bit more research about the topic. And he wrote about 3 building blocks that are necessary for an organization, for a learning organization. And I'll begin presenting the first one, which is the building block 1, which is about a supportive learning environment. And the quote here written by Garvin says, "An environment that supports learning has 4 distinguishing characteristics." And I will start with first the psychological safety, which is about making sure your employees are safe mentally. I'll explain about this. So it happens in class when you want to say something and ask the teacher a question, but you may think it's kind of stupid because you're afraid your teammates or classmates will laugh at you because you don't understand or anything. Well, in the workplace it happens as well, because no worker wants to seem out of place, doesn't want to seem less to his coworkers. So you as a manager or as an organization have to make sure people are willing to participate in their environment. Secondly, we have appreciation of differences. So when people participate, they will have opposing ideas to the ones of the organization. So you have to be accepting of these. They might not go with the way the structure of the company is right now or the way you want it to be, but you have to be willing to listen to them, and maybe you can learn something different or something new that's better even. And in third place, we have openness to new ideas. With people participating, you will always have new ideas. And besides being accepting of these, you have to encourage people to express their ideas, because without them expressing it, you will never innovate and create new ways of performing better in a learning organization. And finally, we have time for learning, which is having a space to yourself. Time for reflection. And you can't judge, usually people judge a worker based on the quantity of work or how many assignments they do and they complete in a less amount of time. Well, we can't really do this because people will stress out. And when people stress out and they have an overload of work, you won't get new ideas because this blocks innovation and it blocks creativity. So you have to have a space in between work hours, maybe to let them relax, do something different. That's what a lot of companies in today's world do. They give their employees a little space for themselves. And a supportive learning environment allows time for a pause in the action and encourage thoughtful review of the organization's processes.
Then we go with block 2, is concrete learning process and practice. Garvin establishes that to develop knowledge, you have to go through four points with generation, collection, interpretation, and dissemination of the knowledge. Generation is pretty simple, like you create something or you learn from something. Collection, you gather all these, you create it. Interpretation, you interpret what the data tells you, how it will affect your company. And finally, dissemination, you share it with your own company. He also tells us there's many ways to gain this knowledge, such as experimentation, gathering intelligence, discipline, analysis, and interpretation, and development of new and established employees. Like you take your employees, and if he's a new one, enrich him with the knowledge, and if he's an old one, just develop him more. As I said before, he encourages sharing among the company. Internally, focus share is basically like with the people that work with you in the firm, your coworkers, you just pass the information to them. And externally just means with, consulting firms or something like that, you have your information or your knowledge, talk with them, and they'll tell you if it's good or how you can get better. It's the next one. And finally, here's an example. The user Army has a program called Army's After Action Review, where basically after every mission or important event, they gather around and talk and make these 4 questions. These develops, they know what they do and how can they do it better next time. So it's like a learning process for them. So it's basically pretty good. So, yeah.
And that's building block 3, and the types of leaderships that reinforce learning. And it's a quote also, when leaders demonstrate a willingness to entertain alternative points of view, employees feel involvement to offer new ideas, which means that when in a learning organization, there's must be a leader that encourages people to try new things and accept that when they fail, it's okay because they're trying something new. There's not a process that they must follow, that they only have to do their part. No, they are proposing new things, and there are 4 bullet points that they must do in a learning organization with leadership learning organization. There's open-minded questioning, there's a problem, and how can I solve this outside different, not in the normal way or in a way that everyone would solve it. And thoughtful listening, when you are questioning yourself or others in an open-minded way, you have to listen carefully and also with an open-minded way, because the answer could be not as good or seemed a little bit weird, because they're new and no one has ever tried those things. And consideration of multiple options, after you're questioning and after you listen what they told you, you have to question yourself, is that a real good thing? Because many things that are, because you're innovating, they think that this, because only new, it's good to know all the things that are new are okay, so you have to be selective with the new ideas they give you, they create. And also that, talk about is the acceptance of opposite points of view. I'm CEO and they are talking with me about new things or new idea they have, And I might think that it's wrong, but my coworkers or other persons think that it's a great idea, and also we could try it out. And after that, there's an example of a well-known leader of a organizational learning company, which is American Express, Harvey Kulub. In the document, the file we found about organizational learning, they told about a process of which companies make tests, their employees make tests, and they can score different points in organizational learning. And American Express was one of the better. So, well, this is Harvey Kulop, and here's one of their quotes.
That's
Thanks.
me.